want to begin with our Taylor Viles, who is stationed inside the Challenger Learning Center right now, where a crowd is gathered to watch our special, including many of the veterans who attended.
And Taylor, it was a long day a month ago for those veterans, but yet another successful trip in the books. Give us a recap.
Yeah, Jacob and Madison, well, they are watching our special in the planetarium right behind me right now. I went in there earlier and counted about 60 or so heads, and lots more have come in by me in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Now, Honor Flight Tallahassee aims each year to make this flight one of the best days of these veterans' lives, and once again, it did not disappoint.
The 66 veterans, their guardians, and dozens of volunteers poured into the hangar hours before sunrise. Most arrived light on sleep, but that's not on anyone's mind.
Excited, ready to get on that plane and go.
The nation's capital awaited the heroes aboard Honor Flight 2025. After touching down in Baltimore, a water cannon salute, just the first of many surprises. For the first time ever, the Deputy Secretary for the Department of Veterans Affairs boarded the plane to share his gratitude for those who served. Then the veterans received a hero's welcome.
They deserve the honor and the recognition.
It really matters that we remember what these folks did for us.
2 veterans on this year's trip fought in World War II.
I've never seen the World War II memorial, and I'd like to see that.
And that was the first stop after arriving at the National Mall. Over 400,000 American soldiers lost their lives during World War II.
But when you look at the World War II people, those are the guys that I consider real, true heroes. They did the kind of things that they don't do today in war.
The veterans and guardians all posing for their yearly honor flight photo. Next stop, the Vietnam and Korean memorials. 61 veterans on this year's flight served in Vietnam, and most came prepared to find the names of friends who didn't make it out.
I see it.
Yep.
I see it right here.
The fall of Saigon was 50 years ago.
I didn't realize it'd been 50 years. That makes me feel real old.
It's gone by in a hurry.
After a quick stop at the U.S. Marine Corps and Air Force memorials, the group headed to Arlington National Cemetery to witness the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The long day in D.C. comes to an end. Back to the airport for the return to Tallahassee, where one last surprise awaits these veterans. Their welcome home.
Tonight, these men got a welcoming that they probably never got when they first came back from Vietnam, and it was well-deserved for them.
There's really not words for this. It's just this is over the top great.
It just warms your heart to be able to shake their hands and say thank you for your service.
It really can't be overstated just how much this trip has meant to all the veterans in the past 10 years and this year especially. Now, it was an honor to be accompanying them to Washington, as it is every year. I'll be back in a few minutes to speak with somebody here about the trip.
All right, Taylor, thank you so much. We'll check in with you again in just a few moments.
Yeah, Jacob and Madison, it was a very emotional experience for many of these veterans staring at the names on the wall who did not make it home from Vietnam. Now, Francis Harp, who lives in Tallahassee and served until 1964, brought to life the memory of a neighborhood friend who didn't return safely. Harp told me he believes Jerry Grant Ingram, who was younger than him, may have enlisted in the Army in part due to Harp's Navy service, and being at the wall brought back all the memories of his fallen friend.
Kid was 17 years old, and he lasted 6 weeks in Vietnam, and he was killed by a machine gun. They brought him home, and his mother kept him up at the house, and I went up there and stayed with her all night. She never left him.
Unfortunately, Harp couldn't remember Jerry's last name at the time we were at the wall, and we ended up finding a different Jerry, but even that brought a tear to his eye.
I see it.
Yep.
I see it right here.
Yeah.
Probably the best one to put on before you get it right.
Well, I asked Harp how often he thinks about his friend Jerry Ingram, and he said without hesitation, every time he hears about someone wanting to go to war. And he said Ingram's death at such an early age was such a waste. Now, this is just a devastating story, but what's even more so is that there are thousands more exactly like it. For now, in Tallahassee, Taylor Viles, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Such a touching story there, Taylor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Madison, thank you. Well, I'm here with Dave Harrington. Dave, you were on Honor Flight 2023. You served in both Korea and Vietnam. What made you want to come back here and support Honor Flight 2025?
Well, Honor Flight is such an experience. There's no way you can show appreciation. I mean, I did a lot of healing on that flight.
What has it been like to relive that flight today?
Oh, every experience with Honor Flight is a pleasure, and it's a joy to be able to fellowship and to share and to feel the love that comes from people that finally appreciate what you did.
Was there anything specific that stood out to you about your flight 2 years ago?
Of course, visiting the Vietnam Memorial is quite an experience, but beyond the Vietnam Memorial is a statue of 3 nurses taking care of a veteran, a wounded veteran, and I wish they could have put a combat medic in there with them, because those guys did so much to save lives.
If you have anybody who's interested in going on Honor Flight, what do you have to say to them?
Do it. It's a memory I'm going to take to my grave, and every single experience on Honor Flight is so well planned out and so well executed that there's no way you can say it's just a pleasure and an honor to be able to be part of this organization.
Well, Dave, it's an honor meeting you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.